Alright, I'm in the basement studio. I'm going to pull this dude off. This is a Rogers Dynasonic. This is the 5-inch shell. See, it's got 5 here. I date this 1972. Alright, wasn't the prettiest thing when I got it. I've got some pictures up online. But I spent a lot of time getting it pretty righteous. So there's the script. There's the throw off. There's the Dynasonic badge. So yeah, good shape. It is missing the paper badge inside the shell. So that kind of stinks. But you can tell very clean. You can also tell there's one piece missing. Right? One piece missing from that bad boy. So, while it's not immaculate, I went online. If you didn't know, Dynasonics have been resuscitated. So I went on and bought one of the new Dynasonic frames. Comes with the snares, comes with some cord to put it on. Okay. But I would suspect, even though the original Dynasonic frame was built to very high quality, that this one's probably even a little bit better. I bet the tolerances are really tight on it. And for $60 for a complete snare frame on a drum that has some collector value, but not a whole lot. There's a lot of 5-inch early 70s chrome over brass Dynasonics out there. I want it to play. I want it to sound good. I want to have it in my arsenal. So I'll go ahead. You can see the back here. Made in Taiwan. Everything else on that drum is made in USA. The frame and snares made in Taiwan. I'm going to go ahead, put the snare up on the table here, unpackage this, and we'll start putting it together. Alright, so got the snare up here on the table. The strainer's facing the camera. I'm pulling the Dynasonic frame, the modern remake version, out of the packaging. Alright. And I want to just lay that right there. Right? Because one of the things everyone knows about a Dynasonic is that it does not have snare beds. Right? That's why when Joe Thompson designed this drum, he designed it that way. That's why the frame was actually 14.5 inches long, total length. It has those little rubber bumpers on it. Alright, remember this is the 70s, it's a early 60s design. Designed right here in Ohio, where I currently reside. Alright, so early 60s design. So some things are not always perfect. I've seen some people use the outer holes. I've seen some people use the inner holes. Right? I think you're supposed to use both. So you can just see on this, I'll pull it off and show you the tolerances and like how nice cut and drilled the holes are in there. You know, this is really a lot nicer, you know, form, fit, and finish than the original Dynasonic frames. I'm sorry if I am offending anyone. I know this is 2019, so I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. I want to be inclusive in my assessment of this piece of equipment. But really, it's better. Okay. I'm pretty certain if Joe Thompson were alive today, he'd be like, yeah, it's built to better tolerances than mine, because the guy was an engineer, right? And an inventor, so he would probably like this stuff to be built within the best tolerances possible. And this looks really good. And I'm not saying that the original Rogers Dynasonic frames and snares were trash. It's not what just came out of my mouth. I'm saying don't disrespect what they're doing in China right now, because they're actually doing a really stinking good job. And this is Taiwan, so people, this is the Republic of China, not the People's Republic of China. Right? So everything else about this drum is original, except for the snares, the frame, obviously snare wires. Heads I have on it are Aquarian. On the snare side, I have the Aquarian Classic clear snare side. I went with that instead of the high performance because I just want to go ahead and let it open up a little bit. Because high performance has some protective tabs, kind of at the snare beds. Since this doesn't have snare beds and it has a snare frame instead of snares, I went ahead just went with the Classic Clear instead. Normally my snares I do use the Aquarian High Performance. But on this one I went with the Classic Clear. On the batter side, sticking with Aquarian, I'm kind of an Aquarian homer. Big fanboy of what Mr. Roy Burns put together for Aquarian. My kit behind me. So I know you're going to scoff. I've already put an aftermarket part on this vintage Rogers snare. I do have a Tama drum kit behind me. So sorry, Dad. Gave my money to the Japanese, and it was built in China. Really nice drum kit. I like it better than the Ludwig classics I was playing before I switched over to Tama. Alright, so I got these snares on now. Alright, I don't have them too tight. Alright, because you don't have to. This drum is ridiculously sensitive. Obviously, if you know the Dynasonic, right, you can adjust your snares from right here at the end of the snare frame, as well as you can tighten them up on the strainer. Okay, so the strainer works as a traditional strainer does, and then you also have the snare frame. So I'm going to tighten that up a little bit just to get my snares centered on the head. It's not a real big deal because of the floating snare frame, right? What I'm going to do now, I'm going to pause. I'm going to put this on a snare stand, grab a pair of sticks, and just see what we're dealing with. All right. Mentioned I do have an Aquarian on the batter side of this drum. It is a modern vintage. Right, so it's kind of has that cream color to it instead of a white coat. It is coated. I didn't really tune this because I didn't have snares, so I kind of left it in a storage kind of configuration. But without tuning it, just throwing the snares on real quick, we can do a whole lot with this in just a couple minutes. So chrome over brass, 10 lug. Phenomenal snare. Similar to the Dynasonic of the Powertone from Rogers. So if you're dealing with Rogers, that was really loose. The Powertone is a 10 lug chrome over brass. It just has snare beds. Really sensitive. All right. Really. All right. So just a little bit. I'm going to pause. I'm going to tune it up a little bit more, and then we'll get back into it. All right, it's not perfect yet. Kind of at a medium-low tension. I'll take the moon gel off, give it a listen without it. We'll go around, give it a half turn. I think the snares are fairly tight. I'm going to go give them a little bit of a turn down here. Crank it up another half. It's actually a quarter, isn't it? It takes a second, 10 lugs, right? I'm also not using the internal muffler, so let me bring that up onto the head. Which might help because it's probably floating in there and contributing to that. There, I think now I'm touching the head. Off a bit. You can see it right there. I want it so it's just touching it. It's very dry right now. Alright, but you can keep playing. Very sensitive, right? You can almost hum and get it. Right. Probably don't need quite so much. Need a little bit more than that. Right. Alright, you play with where that's going to. See, it's completely different there than it is right there. So, American Vintage medium head from Aquarian. Not sure I like it. I put it on here because I wanted to try it out. I figured this was the right drum to do with. Don't really like the head. It's kind of a little weird on me. Or if I'd have gone with some of my standard heads I use, the high velocity. I really love the Aquarian high velocity. If I throw that on here, completely different drum. Messed around a little bit more. Go ahead and check. And flip it. I'll have to mess with the snares a little bit more. I got rid of that crazy sympathetic ring that was going on. Put full-size drum dot here on the butt end, then kind of on the opposite end, a little dot. Stick's kind of broken. Alright, so there it is. Early 70s, I call it 72, possibly 71. Rogers chrome over brass Dynasonic 5-inch head, top head, Aquarian American vintage medium, regular and a small drum dot on it. There's some sympathetic ringing I don't like. I think if I changed the head that would go away. I had the original washers, but they were rusty, and I just haven't taken the time to clean them yet, so I put the nylon washers on. You can see the drum cleaned up really nice because Rogers used a really good chrome. Right, there's the script Rogers. Flip it over, look inside. Drum's very, very clean inside. Spent a lot of time on it. All the pieces are there. Everything, the only thing not original there is that snare frame and snares, right, which is the current modern aftermarket Rogers frame and Rogers branded snares on it. Imagine if I put some of the aftermarket high-end snares on that frame, it would possibly sound a little bit better, but sounds pretty decent. Like I said, change the head, I think it would be a completely different ball game with this drum, but it's pretty nice. Not bad for $180 total I have into it, minus the heads. Just picked up the drum for $120, bought a new snare frame and snares for $60. Boom.